We did it.
We back, baby.
Well, Will didn't make it, but it's okay.
Three's a party.
Yeah, no,
we need that Eminem soundtrack in the back.
Yeah. No,
Guess who's back?
Yeah, it's holidays kind of derailed us a little bit, and then Rob's gallivanting took us out.
Yeah, trying to get four guys together over the holidays.
Yeah, it's tough.
A little tough.
But we got a plan for this year.
That's right.
And we're going to stick to the plan until we don't stick to the plan.
Or Bella's going to kill all of us.
Oh, man. She's...
That's why there's only three of us today.
That's right. One's already gone. He got clipped.
He's in his probation period. But we hope he'll be back next month.
Yeah. So, well, this is fun. It's good to be back, Joe. This is always a highlight. This is like a good what is going on.
Right.
So, but I don't know. Let's just roll right into it.
Yeah.
Bob. Hit it.
Yeah. We'll jump in with some of our tenants that we track and kind of what's going on with those guys, and kind of roll from there. But 7-Eleven's one of those tenants. We track them kind of 12 plus years remaining. So it kind of fits with that private investor, 1031 bonus depreciation buyer, and saw some good activity from this month compared to last month. There are currently, at the beginning of this month, 49 that were on market. The previous month was 77. So we had a lot of inventory pull off
absorption
the market last month with exchange buyers and bonus depreciation buyers. So
rate drops too, I guess.
Yeah, rate drops a little bit, but
everybody's just getting it in before the end of the year.
That's right. Yeah. Trying to get stuff closed out for that tax year. And so it was good overall as far as just number of deals pulled off the market. So 28 that sold last month that we're tracking, and there's still some more that'll hit the market or hit that sold list shortly as we keep tracking it. But good activity there at the end of the year. As far as the pricing, the high price is still $12.5 million. So pretty, there's some bigger price point deals out there. Median continues to inch up. It's at $8 million now. High cap rate is 5.5. Median is 5.15. And there's some low price point deals out there that are California or West Coast deals, 4.25. 7-Eleven, I guess overall did their target last year was like 125 sites, new sites. And their target this year, I think, is around 150 to 175. They're trying to do 500 by 2027.
Wow.
And they've got a target of 1,300 by 2030 of these larger format stores. So they're pretty aggressively expanding still.
Wow.
All right. We'll move. We can jump back to any of these, but Chipotle, kind of 12 plus years remaining. Those we're currently tracking 53 that are on the market. Last month was 51. 8 of them that we're tracking sold. There was another 10 that hit the market. So slight increase on price point. High was like just under 5.5 million. Median is right around 3.5 million. And then cap rate wise, the high is 5.65. Median's 5, and then there's some West Coast stuff that's out there at like 4.25. And so anyway, they're also, I think their number for last year was like 315 new sites. I think it was 315 to 345. This year, they're targeting 350 to 370. Yeah. And I think I read 80% will have Chipotle have the pickup drive-through on it. So that's still a big push for them.
They got the all protein bowl now. You can just eat. Oh, yeah. You can get your little
straight chicken.
Cup of chicken.
That's right. Yeah. I love the new advertisement. Yeah. I actually went today.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? Is this a new spin? It's not. It's just
the same shit.
It's just the same stuff. That's right. I was like, oh, they just want to really promote the fact that, however many grams of protein it is. And it's like extra protein. Well, that's just the double protein.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Not to derail us on that, but I read an article about, the GLP-1s, how big of an influence that has become not only on people buying less, but the emphasis on protein, right? Because you need that as a supplement. Right. So they were talking about Starbucks, Chipotle, adding protein to everything and then calling out the protein, right? And Starbucks specifically, they think will become one of the largest buyers of protein in the country because they forecast that 80% of the drinks they're going to sell over the next 3 years are going to have protein added to them.
Wow.
As those buyers are typically GLP-1, users, and they need to supplement the protein.
Interesting.
So you've got Chipotle leaning in, you've got Starbucks leaning in, huge emphasis on just straight protein. How much can you get as cheaply as you can?
That's interesting. I went to Starbucks earlier this week, kind of the same thing. I like to walk in these guys, and anything that we sell, I like to visit and just see what's the promotional and how are they marketing it. But to your point, it was protein everywhere on drinks. And I'm like, is that in a latte? What is it? Like, what are you doing? And it was just adding protein to the drink. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, didn't we just turn the food pyramid upside down where protein's on top? I mean, right? They go, hey, something's wrong with the food pyramid. And RFK goes, yeah, just it's upside down. Just turn it over. I mean, so maybe we need to make some protein investments. You get some cattle out there that
we can do it.
Somerset Farms.
Man, they're getting it from everything now. Peas and you name it. There's protein in it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Starbucks, I'll give you guys a quick update on them. For kind of the way we track them, there's more 8+ years remaining. And so there's currently 113 on the market. Last month, there was 138. And so, we're slowly, whittling away as far as that number of deals on market with Starbucks.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing a positive trend with them where there was way too many. I think they still are trying to figure out how do they counteract all the competition. I think they've got way more competition now, but they're doing a huge investment in those remodel program that they've got where I think they're trying to hit 1,000 sites this year. But I think we'll see an improvement, hopefully, in cap rates for Starbucks. We haven't seen it yet, but we're starting to see that inventory come down. Cap rates, the high out there on those guys is like 6.8 cap. The median 6. There's some low West Coast deals, but that aren't really applicable, I don't think, to the overall kind of market. And then high price point is 6 million. And then there's medians more in that just under 3 million range. But I think positive signs from Starbucks with inventory, and I think we may see cap rates come down, but we'll just have to see.
Okay.
And then I guess let me just touch real quick, just 10-year, that's one of the things we're always track, and we've been tracking that. Last month, the high was 419. I think the median was just under 415, and then the low was 406 today. I think it was hovering around 415. And one of the forecasts that we will probably talk a little bit more about later, one of the things they touched on with that last week was just how it's been real sticky, and it's kind of hovered in that 4 to 4.25 range. And I just don't know if that's going to change dramatically. Most of the lenders we've talked to, we've even started looking more at the 5-year, just because the 10-year is not super relevant to debt right now, because all the debt we're seeing quoted is shorter term. Construction loans, that debt's come down. And then all the long-term rates with buyers we're trying to go get, nobody's really quoting a 10-year. It's all kind of 5-year, max is what we're seeing. So we're starting to look more and more at the 5-year treasury. I think that 10-year is going to stay sticky, which is kind of what we were hearing last week. And then Fed meets in a couple of weeks. They're the latest kind of percentage that I saw is that it's 95% that it just stays as is right now. And it's, 5% or less that they lower another quarter basis point. Yeah. So it just doesn't look like anything's going to happen there right now. Not in this month.
Yeah.
Hey, not to put you on the spot, but curious your thoughts. I had a client call me and he said, hey, I've got $3 million I want to place. And he sent me a daycare that he was interested in. I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. It was a decent return. It was a new 15-year deal. So I look it up. Well, problem for me was that the facility was built in 1995,
Right.
and it looks old.
Right.
It may be a new 15-year deal, but it's an antiquated facility. How would you advise a client if they had a $3 to $4 million budget and they wanted to buy something that had a decent return?
Sure.
Right. They're not chasing the Starbucks of the world.
Right.
How would you advise a client or a prospect on what to go after?
So I think that, you know, we hear this a lot, and buyers are naturally attracted to, you know, higher yields. Well, and you got to remind those guys all the time, hey, the reason it's a higher yield is kind of reflective of the risk. And so you got to really dig into that. In that price range, it's getting tougher and tougher. You know, used to $2 to $3 million, you could find stuff all day long that was good quality product, whether it was a Starbucks or another QSR.
Right.
I think one of the best, you know, kind of price and cap rate for what you get is like Murphy gas station or a Circle K. You know, they're ground leases. So if you're looking for depreciation, it doesn't help you. But, and I think Starbucks is still, for the credit and profile that you get, there's some maintenance, but man, that's a way safer investment than, you know, a small franchisee that, man, you got to really dig in and understand their financials, and not just their corporate or however many locations they've got, whether it's 5 or 20 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
You got to really dig into that, but then you need to dig into the unit level as well. So, those are tough. I think that in that price range, there's some decent tenants like a Starbucks, but, I that's where I caution guys. I'm like, hey, go get a Starbucks at a 6 cap with investment grade credit. And, you know, financially they're strong. They're going to pay the rent regardless. Go underwrite the real estate and the location. When you start getting into daycares and car washes or other things, you got to really peel it back, especially if it's private, you know, private equity backed or whatever, or small franchisee. You got to really understand. I tell guys just the guarantee and the strength behind the lease, but also the unit level.
Right. Yeah. And we've touched on it in the past, but I think the ability to reuse those buildings is so vitally important, right? It's whether it's the Starbucks or the QSRs,
right?
You know, even if something happens like the Starbucks closures, you've got a great asset that you're gonna receive multiple calls on.
Right.
A one-off daycare closes, and you know, you may be sitting on it for quite a while, even if they're paying their rent.
That's right.
And as we've talked about, vacant buildings are no bueno.
Yeah.
We just had a bank get stripped of its copper.
I've had 2 days ago. I've had 3 vacant buildings this year, all stripped, even with security.
Wow.
There's another option for their $3 to $4 million. You can just give it to us.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I like it. Just put it in the fund.
Yeah. No vacant buildings.
No vacant buildings. I was thinking the other day, you see those security, you know, big battery tow behinds on site on construction projects, right? Well, obviously that's an expensive investment.
It's $3,000 a month.
Yeah. How do we create a smaller one of those that's just as effective, that's more cost effective, that you could put in the parking lot of your vacant building?
You know what might be more pronounced is if you had a drone just hovering there. You could like hear it.
Yeah.
They're like, man,
I don't know.
I've seen them Ukraine videos. I ain't touching that shit. You know, like, but you know, something like that. You can just have a drone, and as soon as it dies, another one just sits up. But I mean, $3,000 a month for those things, because I got 2 of them on a site right now.
You're talking about the cameras
trailer. I mean, we looked at just buying one.
Yeah.
They're like, we spend so much money on these things.
Right.
Like, just buy them and store them in a vacant space.
Right.
Like, it's
truth is, they don't even have to be hooked up. I just need the blue light to be on, and it's sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really all I need.
Right.
But you know, the copper out of this building, this is a small freestanding former bank, and it's in North Dallas. It's not in a bad area whatsoever, not far off Preston Road. And the electrician was in there giving us an estimate and the whole thing. And I said, how long do you think these guys were here? He said, probably 4 days.
Are you serious?
3 to 4 days. They had stripped every piece of copper out of that building, including some of the plumbing. And then he said, I said, roughly, what are we talking about? He's like, $100,000 plus or minus. And I said, what do they get for it? He said, maybe $5,000 if they stripped it all, got all the conduit off and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, $5,000. And you're like, man, I'd almost rather just leave a check inside the building and say, you got this far, just take this money and walk out and let's call it a day.
Dude, I had a tenant vacate a building and been trying to get it leased for them, but they're paying rent and, big publicly traded company. And I told them the day they left, I was like, you better get security on that building.
Mm.
Well, I guess they never did. That thing got gutted the other day. And this will be $150,000 just for, now they got security.
Right. Wow.
But even on this building, I even joked as we left on Monday, I said, we should write on the window, copper has been stripped, right?
Yeah.
Keep the next guy from busting in and realizing it's gone. It's
so
like,
they got in.
Yeah.
Did whatever work they were doing, got out.
Yep.
And then just left whatever window or door.
Yeah, back door.
Yeah.
No alarm.
Okay.
And just left out of the back door. And there's a little mezzanine in that space. And he said they probably just stayed here for a weekend.
Yeah.
And went to town.
I've walked into vacant buildings and ran them out.
Yeah.
And they're sleeping there. They have like sleeping bags and pillows. And
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jumping out the window or walking in the back door.
So $100,000 to go replace it.
Yeah.
And they probably got 5% of that.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a week's worth of meth, I think.
It
was gone.
Well, the city of Dallas used to, when I started in the business, it wasn't the case, but then they created this law where they had to like really identify where the material was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And that really shut it down for several years. And then they just said, it's too much work and lifted that law or something. Something to that effect. I'm butchering that to some degree, but then it just started right back up.
Yeah.
You should have to verify that somehow.
Yeah.
I've got a contract on this site.
But the problem is you're talking about scrap. It's a cash business. You know what I mean?
There's always somebody that'll take it.
Right. Every scrapyard's got $100,000 in a duffel bag sitting there.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Rob, you part of your gallivanting and missing podcast was going to ICSC in New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good. Yeah,
I was gonna go. We were gonna go, and then we just couldn't get it together. So
yeah, it was. The show was great. It was, really one day of kind of back to back, and then there was some stuff the next day. I think a lot of it probably cleared out, including myself. But it was a great show. Attendance was up 10% year over year, which I think is always a great sign.
Absolutely.
Right? You get 1,000 more people in there. Hey, okay, all right, good. That means we're doing more business. Continues to be a great show at the Javits. Was very well attended. Plenty of events that night. We took 2 clients out to dinner afterwards. It's every year I kind of debate: do I need to go? Do I not need to go? And this year I kind of put it off until the last minute. Jess decided to come with me, which was fantastic. We stayed at a great hotel, and we actually got up there a little early on Monday and just kind of goofed off for a couple of days. And so it was a great trip. And it's one of those, I'm like, do I really need to go? And then I'm there and I'm like, all right, I should have been here.
I'm glad I came.
100%. And for me, it was really, I had a handful of clients up there, and I had 2 or 3 that are like, Rob, I'd rather not take this meeting without you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll book the flight.
I'm there.
And then I'll pay for dinner that night too.
Yeah. Rob, I really just wanted my dinner paid for, but
hey, I'll send a gift card. I don't need to go. That could have saved me a lot of money. But but no, the show was great. Lots of activity. The big booths are packed. Everybody, it feels like that we met with was, meetings every half hour, kind of bouncing around. And it's, you take Vegas and shrink it down by 2/3,
right?
And not only in space, but also in, attendees. And so it's very efficient because it's a very big show, but everything is very tight and you're bouncing around, walking on the floor. And so, all in all, very positive experience. I think we're headed on the right track, that it brings up kind of the conversation. We talked about Weitzman's forecast breakfast last week. Rob Kaplan was there. And, he's talking about the forecast of 26 and 27. He's like, hey, we're on our way up and it's going to keep going for the next 24 months at least. And it's almost like you could feel that at the show, right? I don't want to say we're back and full steam ahead, but it certainly feels that way. You had a lot of tenants there. You had a lot of developers there. Obviously, all the big brokerage houses are there, and booths are full. There's deals being talked about. I've been there in the past where, everybody's kind of, hey, I think we're going to do this, and I think we're going to do that. This was certainly not that way. We're talking about new projects coming out of the ground, and new financing that's been closed, and all of those things. So moving in the right direction. And we mentioned Weitzman. We can touch on that for a minute. That was first of all just such a great event. I always appreciate being invited to that. And
absolutely,
Weitzman
they
does a first class.
They do a
deal.
great job,
Yeah.
and there's a ton of research that goes into it. And Herb always has a great speaker, and so having Rob there. For those that don't know, he's a past Fed chair,
right,
and then also vice chairman at Goldman Sachs, and so a wealth of knowledge. He's meeting with clients not all over the country, but all over the world, and so unique perspective and real high level view of things. And like you said, Rob, he's very, very positive about kind of the trajectory and the way things are moving. So that was really encouraging.
100%. And, he couldn't be more clear of how fortunate we are to be in Texas and to be in Dallas. And, there's a reason Goldman Sachs is coming here with an office, and Y'all Street is up and running. And, I came away with some stats, and I'm sure you've got yours in front of you too, but let's touch on a few things. So, 202 million square feet of inventory in Dallas Fort Worth on the retail side. You've got
total inventory.
I
thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, you've got 2.4 million under construction, and this year we hit a record occupancy of 95.3%. Last year was 95.1, which again was a record at the time, and now it's an even tighter market. So just more and more emphasis on space being leased, and what's happening here, all moving in the right direction. And then grocery anchored centers. This was, to me, the headline kind of blew me away. It's so from 2019 to 2024, we had 12 new grocery anchored centers developed in Dallas Fort Worth. Okay. In 2025 alone, we had 18 grocery anchored centers open up. And not only that, one step further, there are 34 in the pipeline under development.
That's incredible.
There is nowhere else in the country that is putting up those kind of numbers.
Are the people here for that? I mean, is it?
I think one of the things they touched on and kind of talked about, because I kind of wrote down a lot of the same numbers. One of the things I looked at was that they said in 21, so we're kind of on the other side of COVID and everything getting shut down, there were 0 grocers that opened that year, and then it kind of slowly started building. And there were, I think, 3 in 23.
No, so they're
7
catching up
in 24,
probably.
And then this big push last year, which Rob was talking about, 18, and then all these 34 that are under planning and development. So they're, I think, catching up to all the growth. So it was an incredible number. I was like, I had to go back and re-look at and watch some of it, because I was like,
did he just say
was
what I
that
think he
right?
said?
Was that right? It's just such a crazy number.
Yeah. We were there with some teammates, and I had a couple of younger guys with us, and I looked at both of them like, this is special. Like, don't take this for granted. This isn't happening anywhere else. And not only is it, and it's a mix of grocers, which is equally impressive, right? It's not only the HEBs that you're seeing, but the Tom Thumbs are active. The Kroger is active. And so it's amazing to see that sort of growth on that scale in one market.
Yeah. Sprouts, Walmart, Target, some big groups that are doing new deals. And I think, especially maybe the younger guys in the business don't quite, maybe they're learning it, but it's like each time one of these guys goes and builds a new grocer, I mean, you got to think about the spider web of retailers that come in and occupy those trade areas. I mean,
totally
all the, financial, banks and services, and I mean, it's on and on. Yeah.
I was talking to a colleague of ours in Northern California, and he said, what's happening in Dallas? I keep reading about this growth, and somehow we got on the topic of power centers. So grocery anchored centers, amazing. Right. But now you get into the power centers of the world, where you've got a you've got a Target or a Walmart, and then you've got, Ross and TJ Maxx and a bunch of junior box and pads out front, those kind of things. And I said, yeah, I think in Dallas, we probably have, I don't know, 6 or 8 under construction.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Rob, we haven't had a new power center built in the last 10 years. And you have 8 under construction right now?
Right.
Where's he at in California? In LA area?
No. So he's he's outside of San Francisco. He kind of bounces around, but it was just the idea of, and California is a different animal. I get it, but it completely blew his mind that we could have that much growth on a power center, for platform taking place here.
Right.
And I didn't even tell him about the grocery anchor development.
Right.
We were looking at our investment committee the other day. We were looking at buildings, and someone brought us a building in Cleburne, and I was just like, man, that's like almost Waco in a way, But I was just kind of looking at the trajectory on the map, and I was like, man, that is just going to be the next loop.
Right.
Like all the way through to Cleburne, like probably like all the way up to Denton. Like it was just like, it's DFW's, man, it just caught fire.
It did. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of, that growth is just, somebody was talking, you guys are up here, so you know more about it, but I don't get out and drive sites as much as I used to. I try to go see everything we can, but somebody's just talking about the growth of that outer northern Collin County loop.
Oh, it's awesome.
And so I started going on the map to look at it, and it's not all, some of it's still under construction, but I'm like, these are going to create some huge retail developments within those major, wherever it crosses one of those major north-south. So it's going to be unbelievable.
So I've been traveling that counting outer loop here recently because my daughter's basketball games are all in Anna or Melissa or whatever, and our equity partner, he grew up in McKinney, and his parents' house is like front and center on the outer loop. Like he grew up on like 5 or 6 acres. He's like, dude. I keep driving by. I'm like, hey, your parents haven't taken down their Christmas lights yet. But like, I mean, they are. I was like, man, he's like been telling me they're like prime time, but I'm like, man, y'all are like prime time. He goes, dude, like I'm gonna have like a gas station there. They're gonna have a corn. Like I was just like, golly, and like they already have all the billboards are sitting there.
Really?
They're just vacant right now.
Oh wow!
But they're already planted across the.
No way.
I was like, this is crazy. So, but it's not a nice little road.
Yeah.
It gets you over 75 real easy.
Mm-hmm. How much of that is not quite completed?
Well, I just come up Custer and then get on it. And it takes from Custer. I don't know where. I haven't gone left.
Okay,
I've only gone right.
Takes you to the tollway.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And is it all in?
It's
it's in.
It just opened up.
Yeah,
a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So from Custer, just hang a ride on that thing, man. I'd get dumped right on 75.
Yeah.
So
wow,
and it's one of those, I think anywhere an hour outside of Dallas is experiencing significant growth right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we're working a deal down in Corsicana recently had an Aspen open up, and we've got another deal working there with our sponsor tenant. And there was an old Kmart box.
Sorry.
It took a second. Yeah. The old Kmart box had sat there for a decade, untouched. Right. Now you got an Academy coming in and an Ulta coming in, and you've got the Walmart that's been there forever that used to be on the far outside of town. And now you just have this lineup of restaurant and service tenants that have all done pad deals across the street.
Right.
You've got multi-family coming in behind that. You've got a mall that's, redeveloped on the outside, right? They've given up the interior of the mall, but the outside has been redeveloped. And it's, if you'd driven down to Corsicana 10 years ago, it's like, who's going to be down here? Like, what are we doing?
Kind of like Cleburne you're talking about earlier. It's 100%. Like all these outer, and I think it's affordability, people can, it's still, what's it take? Corsicana to Dallas, is that 45 minutes?
That's right.
Something like that.
A little bit less,
so,
but yeah.
People are like, where can I go where it's affordable?
Yeah.
And if they work on the south side, it's easy to get to. And everybody knows about all the growth on the north side and the pockets of, you just go look at Frisco, and that's a major, employment hub now. I mean, you hear people call it like that's another downtown north, It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Now we're buying a business park on 380 in Princeton, and I mean it's like pretty much at the border of McKinney. You can see the airport. You can pretty much see the airport from the site, which is going to be a commercial airport now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, just sitting out there, and then I was looking at our map and all the things they're building the east, which is further away from the center, and it's just like I was like, man, own this thing for a while.
Right.
I saw that airport deal get finalized, and immediately I looked up the airline. Like, where do they fly? I was hoping that was going to be JSX. Obviously, that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
It's a weird named airline, but they go to a bunch of island destinations. So,
Well, is it not? I
Really?
mean, they're not going to have like American flights there and stuff like that.
no. As of right now, they've only signed one airline
Oh, okay.
that has never been in Dallas before, and I think it's a low cost kind of vacation airline, if you will.
Mm.
Right. Okay.
So they're trying to get you going to the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
No American or Southwest or anybody doing
No, not right now.
Yeah.
I think it's one
They'll
of those.
get them.
It's
though,
a proof
eventually.
to me, it's a proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
You put in a smaller airline, they're successful. All of a
Right.
sudden, that opens up a ton of opportunities
Sure.
for other groups. So, a couple of headlines we can run through as well. So, great news: Tractor Supply just reached their 2,400th location. They're going to open 100 in 2026. Those guys have been on a growth path for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. What do those trade at?
They're it depends on the market, but I think most of them are kind of high fives to mid sixes in that range.
My brother's buying one right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I think he's buying one like in Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah.
But he's
But they're
moving.
good.
He's moving to all
Yeah.
like
People
absolute.
love them.
I love it. He's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So another great story, Aldi getting closer to their goal of 3,200 stores. They're going to do 180 in 2026 and are launching a new e-commerce site. So Aldi continues their warpath.
What's our number this year?
They're going to open 180.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So that's good news for those guys. Couple new openings, and the Henry just announced at Legacy West. So if you guys recall, Kite bought Legacy West, I think last year.
Yeah.
Huge, fantastic.
750 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a million. Sorry.
Yeah. No B. No B.
Normalizing these things now. Sorry.
Everything's a billion now.
Yeah, this is $1 billion.
Yeah. But now they own, 3 corners there. The only
Wow.
piece they don't have is that Legacy North with
So
Benihana and
They are the
Capital
ones
Grille.
that bought that, the original.
They
That's
bought
right.
the
Yeah.
original Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've owned Shops of Legacy, the original, for a few years.
Yeah.
And then they went just north of there. I think it's like Legacy East maybe, but
Right.
it's they've got that, and then they're over at Legacy West now.
Mhm.
So they've got that one piece. The Legacy North is that one, and that one actually just traded, but Kite didn't buy that.
Okay.
They're now that they've got 3 of those centers. I sat down with Kite in New York at ICSC, and now they get to play chess.
Right.
Right now, they're moving folks around and going, "Hey, we love your concept, but you're not Legacy West material.
Right.
Let's move you to the original Shops of Legacy."
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, we want to.
You're kind of the B team.
You're kind of the B team. We don't need to get rid of you,
Yeah.
but we're, that Legacy West is your true flight to quality, right? You got, and I think even when Legacy West was built, I know they had aspirations of those luxury brands,
Mhm.
but that didn't come until, the most recent phase.
Right.
But the Louis Vuittons and the Gucci's and the
Yeah.
Tiffany's, I think in anybody's wildest dreams, 10 years ago, was Tiffany going to have a location in Plano at the Shops of Legacy? It probably would have been, no way.
Yeah.
But now that that's already happened and they've been very, very successful, you've got a major flight to quality at that Legacy West Center.
Yeah.
And they're trying to reposition tenants that, maybe they're the B plus team.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We still want you at this intersection, but there's a higher and better user for that space. So we're going to pull you over into a different part of our center.
Makes sense. It's kind of like, what they do at North Park. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, it's time for a remodel.
That's
You're
right.
not the best fit in this area. We got some hot new brand. We're going to put them in there and you need to move.
You
and
need
it
to go
forces the
upstairs.
remodel. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
that's
going
right.
upstairs and you're remodeling.
Right.
But shouldn't y'all Yeah, didn't they? What was the name of the two guys? Was it the two Bobs on Office Space where they interviewed to see if you Rob and Bob can come interview your tenants? Be like, yeah, so
yeah,
what do you
we
do
need to
here?
talk.
We still want you.
Yeah,
Just not right here.
How about the basement?
Basement
should work out fine for you.
I love it. Speaking of legacy, big news in the headlines: AT&T moving up to Plano, taking the EDS headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
That is a massive deal. Huge win for Plano and very disappointing loss for the city of Dallas.
Right.
Man, what are they going to do down there?
I don't know.
Me and my brother were just talking about this about an hour ago. We were thinking through it. And he's like, dude, they just need, city of Dallas needs to take over Main Street. Like, they just got to all move in down there. Like,
yeah.
Because
the RFP just came out for the city hall.
Right.
With a bunch of different options that they want people to try to help solve for.
Wait, they want to sell City Hall?
Well, that's the RFP is, hey, we can sell City Hall. If we do, where do we go? Kind of pitch us your building, pitch us your concept, and how do we reposition City Hall? What do we do with it?
I forget what the number was, but they were talking about they think it's better probably to sell
that's right.
than to remodel or to do a major renovation just because they're like, once you get in it, like every they big
probably just
project
get
like that, it's gonna get
that department got closed down. I don't know if you saw it. They lost their building. They're closed.
But they're like worried about what the ultimate cost is going to be.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't. Is it better to go lease or new construction or I don't know?
It was an astronomical hundreds of millions of dollars to try to renovate City Hall to get it up to current standards.
Right.
Pipes bursting with sewers just coming into the building. I mean,
oh really?
Oh yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
It's bad.
I'd work from home too.
Yeah, that's probably start over material.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Miko Sina just is buying Razoo's.
Saw that.
Thought that was interesting. Yeah, and it's not a rebrand, at least not currently.
Right.
They're saying that they're going to continue to operate those as Razoo's, at least for the time being. So it'd be interesting to see how all of that comes together.
So it's Ray Washburn's buying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You said Razoo's?
Razoo's.
Oh, Razoo's. I thought you said Razoo's.
That's how we say it in the nice areas of town. Those not from Irving, that's how we pronounce it.
I always made it funny the way I say Chipotle.
More good news for Dallas. Netflix House opened up in December at the Galleria.
Yep.
Have y'all been out there?
I have.
How is it?
What'd you think?
I went to the Stranger Things thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of mid.
Was it strange?
Kind of mid.
What is the? I don't even know that I've read about it. But
it was.
Like, what's the?
It was like an interactive thing. So for Stranger Things, right? So, you kind of walk into this one section, and then it's kind of like this whole theme behind some girl got lost, or some of the people are lost. You got to go find them. You're going to help. You're like a search and rescue team. So it's kind of like a Universal Studios quasi kind of thing.
Yeah. So you pay a fee, kind of like Universal, to go in.
And they have that. And they have Squid Games. The Stranger Things was really cool. I mean, they did a great job on the interior, all the detail and all that stuff. But it was kind of like a cattle herd,
moving you through.
Like it would have been really like it's probably the most profitable way to do it, right? But like this is just my personal opinion, but like if they would have made it more like a true, like almost like an escape room type scenario with something of that nature, that would have been really cool. But it's just like, okay, go look at this room. All right, now move to the next one. Now move to the next. It's just like we all walked out of there kind of going,
So in addition to admission, how else are they?
They have
money?
They have like an arcade in there. They have a food court almost looking type thing. It's a cool concept. I don't know. I felt like they know ways to do things better with the interactive thing, and I think it's probably just they probably know that they probably just went, oh, this is more money, so we can herd more people through.
Well, I think part of it is they opened in December. Their traffic was through the roof.
Yeah.
In fact, according to Placer, Galleria's overall traffic was up 25% year over year.
Wow.
And there's no doubt that Netflix House was a huge driver of that. There's one other open at King of Prussia Mall, you've got Galleria, and then you've got one in Las Vegas that's an executed lease. So as far as I know, those are the only 3 that have
2 open.
2 open, and then one coming in new construction out in Vegas. So I think part of it was you opened at the busiest time of year in a mall, and you're jamming all of these people in there. I have a feeling when that initial excitement settles down, I bet you get a totally different experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Going through there in May.
Right. In all fairness, too, we had just been in New York and saw the Stranger Things Broadway show, and that was badass.
Yeah,
like it's insane what they can do on Broadway. Like it's not like just a play anymore. Like I mean, it's like a magic show or something half the time. So, anyways, we were kind of jaded,
admittedly.
Yeah.
And good news for Galleria is that the traffic at that Netflix house was so much stronger than anything King of Prussia has ever done. So
really,
yeah, as of right now, it's blowing King of Prussia out of the water. And
you know how much longer that's been open?
That's been open, I think, almost a year now.
Okay.
Yeah, plus or minus. So that caught a ton of press when it first opened.
Right.
And I think Dallas, obviously, it's so easy to get to, such a large regional draw. I think, and Galleria, the way that it's positioned in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be at the airport in 10 minutes.
Right.
You can be downtown in 15 minutes, and Frisco in 20 minutes.
Right.
So anyways, I think great news for them and for the Galleria. Just, overall Galleria's foot traffic has been fantastic. They're doing a great job of repositioning. You've got new Rolex store. You've got, Louis Vuitton doubled in size, and Lululemon doubled in size, and Aritzia coming in there. And so anyways, great story to tell when a lot of malls don't have that sort of narrative.
Yeah.
Kudos to Trademark and MetLife and what they're doing with that mall. Read an article about value dining and the boom in that. Thought that was interesting. Chili's, Texas Roadhouse, Olive Garden, all of them are showing significant year-over-year comps. Chili's especially.
Right.
There was a viral thing about these egg rolls that came out, and
I know. Keep going on.
They were, just emphasizing how the traffic has been up big time. And I think part of it, everybody's been eating out so much, right? Ever since COVID, when you were free, you wanted to go back to restaurants. Well, it feels like if the economy and money is tightening up a little bit, hey, I still want to go out to eat, but maybe I don't need to go to Del Frisco's. Yeah. Maybe we find something closer and a little more casual. And I think they have been the beneficiary of a lot of that stuff.
It's interesting. I don't know if they still have it, that trio and different, promotional items that they had. But, at one point it was like burger, fries, drink, and I think chips and salsa. And it was like $11 or it was pretty inexpensive. And we have a client that we do some Jack in the Box sell lease backs for. And I met with him back maybe last summer, and he was just talking about taking his grandkids. I'm kind of joking. I was like, "Oh, did you go to one of your Jack in the Box?" He's like, "No, we went to Chili's. It was great." And it was comparable as far as like going through a quick service restaurant and going through the drive-through. You can get full service, and it was pretty reasonable meal when you compare it. So it's pretty interesting what those guys are doing.
We funded a Texas Roadhouse, and I wish Will was here. Will loves Texas. Like he's like, oh, my birthday, I'm going to Texas Roadhouse, and
love it.
But I was thinking what you're talking about. People eating out more and COVID and all that stuff. But like, man, I feel like we have to eat out because there's never a night anymore at the age where our kids are at that everyone's in the house.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the only time you could actually sit at home and cook would be when your kids aren't doing anything every single evening. Right. But I mean, I haven't gotten home
happens.
I haven't gotten home till 10 o'clock at night yet this week because I've been at a kid activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jess is notorious for like one day a week. She'll make 4 different meals that can easily store. So chili, spaghetti and
Chili.
meatballs.
Women love to make chili. My wife then goes, "Hey, how about taco soup?" I'm like, "You're just fucking disguising chili again, okay?"
She'll throw it all in the fridge.
We had taco soup last week.
There you go.
You had chili.
You had chili the week before.
I'm
Throw it all
talking to
in the
my
fridge.
wife when I get home.
Yeah.
Throw it all in the fridge, and then when everybody comes home, you just pick whatever you want, warm it up, and eat when you can. It gets crazy when they get older.
That's efficient. That's probably the way it has to be done.
Yeah.
So,
some more good news. Wingstop has opened their 3,000th location. They've opened up 800 since 2023.
golly.
Wow.
I mean, great story on a franchise model.
Mhm.
They are absolutely crushing it. You know, they've got that new headquarters right off 75
Right.
down in
Yeah,
Dallas. It looks
it's pretty
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool building.
All lit up green.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks good.
Anytime you're on 75, you're
Yeah,
looking right at
know
it.
it
It almost feels like it's over in
Yeah,
the
it does.
middle of the freeway.
Yeah.
100%. So great story there. Let's see. We'll get into some of the closures. So Wendy's has announced they're closing 300 locations.
Mm.
I don't think that list has come out yet, but if anybody gets that, send it to me. We'd love to see it. But those are going to be some pending closures. GameStop just announced they've got 470 closures across the country. We're going to have 45 of those in Texas. That list is out. And, you know, it's kind of as you would expect. You've got a bunch of mall stores on there. There were a couple in Texas that somewhat surprised me, but I think, you know, GameStop was dying a death. And then you had
The Wall Street bets.
Wall Street
blow it
bets,
up.
blow it up.
Yeah.
You know, they took off, and I think now they're slowing down again. But anyways, you've got some more inventory coming on the market. Salad and Go was obviously in the headlines with their closures of everything in Texas and Oklahoma.
Salad and gone.
Salad and gone. Yes.
I mean, are they even still a company anymore?
Yeah,
So
they are.
They're moving it back to Arizona, where they're
Right.
from. They had moved the headquarters to Dallas. They're moving that back to Arizona and are
I like Salad and Go.
Cutting
That was
ties
good
with the state.
value.
It was. It
Yeah.
was really good value. We sold some, and anyway, I don't know.
R.I.P.
They just struggled. They do well in Arizona, though.
They do. Yeah. From Phoenix, I think obviously this is one of those private equity stories.
Mhm.
Private equity came in, bought it. Within 12 months, they kind of chased the founder out. And then it was grow as quick as you can and increase margins as best you can. And I think quality suffered. I think service suffered. And they couldn't survive. Now, the good news for us in Dallas is that you've got record occupancy. We need
Right.
vacancies.
Right.
Yeah.
Those spaces coming back on the market. Salad and Go is trying to negotiate as many lease terminations as they can. They're also offering sublease opportunities to tenants that are out there. And, you know, I think this opens up a great opportunity for the coffee shops of the world, right?
Right.
Black Rock,
Right.
Backfilled One, Dutch Bros, Seven Brew, you know, they just opened their 600th location. You know, I think those guys
are on
clamoring
fire.
for those spaces.
Yeah.
Same thing, you know, a concept that probably would be new to market for us, but Rita's Italian Ice, they just opened their 600th location. And so I think you've got a list of tenants that
Mhm.
fit that space profile, need the drive through. And although those were expensive ground leases, now you've got a building that you can repurpose. So,
Right.
you know, I think that adds some value to that transaction. And I guarantee you, we're going to look up in 12 months and
They'll be absorbed, you think?
every one of those
Right.
will be gone.
What is Rita's? I'm not familiar.
It's Italian Ice.
What is
Okay.
that, like a slushy? Like a
No,
snow
it's
cone?
like, you know, when you go to a football game, they sell the strawberry or lemon ice in the little
Yeah.
container. And it's
Yeah,
frozen.
yeah,
You
yeah.
kinda
It's
pick
like a
away at it.
sorbet almost
Sorbet.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Sorbet.
yeah.
Sure.
Rita's. We're gonna change the name to sorbet. Rita's sorbet.
That's like, is that French? And they get really offended. Sorbet.
Another neat thing that I've seen is the card stores coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought this was kind of interesting,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's our generation
Mhm.
that grew up collecting baseball cards, football cards, what have you. I think there was always kind of a subculture of that, but now it's like classic cars, right? It's the
Right.
idea of, hey, I always wanted that growing up, and
Yeah.
now I want it, and I've got the money to buy what I want. But, you know, it was interesting. Tom Brady's card vault opened up down at Victory. You had Wax that opened up in Prosper.
Is that the one in
Yeah.
by where Best Foot Forward was?
Yes. Yeah.
Man, that was a good massage.
We're going to leave that alone. But you've got Cards in a Box that opened at the Star. Triple Cards has opened up down at Preston and Campbell, just to name a few. But thought it was interesting just to kind of see that sort of growth on something that, again, 5 years ago would have been like, what are you talking about?
That's
like,
interesting.
You're not going to have new card stores.
One of the Paul brothers was just on one of the business channels.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
with his
Fox Business
Pokemon
or something.
card.
Yeah. He's got this Pokemon card in like a thick glass or hard plastic, wearing it like a chain.
Yeah.
And they asked him, they think it's worth over $4 million. It's going to go to auction.
Insane.
I was like, wow. To your point about it blowing up, when I saw that, I was like, it's.
So are NFTs officially worth $0 now?
They are. Yeah.
I haven't heard NFTs in a while.
Yeah. Like, they were hot too for
really
a while.
hot.
They showed one that had sold for like 1.4 million.
That guy's just sitting there looking at it like,
and now it's worth $500.
Maybe.
Something.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the hot thing for quite a while. So all good, overall, I think, all great news in Dallas. We're continue to move in the right path. We've got new inventory coming. Existing inventory continues to get eaten up. To me, the only kind of fear or hesitation in what we do is day in and day out, can tenants continue to pay these rents?
Yes.
Right. It's, we went from, base rent was $20 a foot to $30 a foot to we skipped over 40 and we're in the 50s now.
Right.
And, we just got quoted a space in a suburban, little strip center out in front of a grocery store at, low 60s. And it's like, wait a second, how does this, and these are not freestanding, drive-throughs. These are, retail end cap spaces in centers. So, obviously with the increase in land costs and increase in construction costs, you can back into how somebody needs to achieve these rents. The question becomes how many of these franchise tenants, for instance, are signing up for these deals in Prosper and Solana at, upper 40s, low 50s a foot plus nets, which used to be $3. And then they went to $5 and then $8. And now we're at 13 and 15 a foot. You tack that onto a $45 rent number. You got some serious cash coming out every month. How many of these guys can truly survive long term? Right.
I just saw a client sent me, just kind of a breakdown talking about some of the same things, and they're talking about taxes. And this was in a Denver market. There's all these overlays and kind of additional taxing authorities. And I believe the NOI on this property was like $130,000 and change, and the taxes were comparable. And you're just like, to your point, how do tenants keep absorbing this?
Yeah.
I think about this when we're selling properties, like, all right, is this a good site? Can the tenant do well, show up and pay their rent? We're primarily selling kind of blue chip type properties with national tenants and good credit, but it's kind of amazing with the increases and what changes that. How do we get that under control? And I don't know what the answer is to that, but because you can't these prices just can't keep accelerating the way they've been.
I got to wonder, a lot of these tenants, this is probably very relative in the retail world. I've learned from a lot of tenants in the equipment rental space, because they're almost kind of like a quasi retail setup sometimes, right? Yeah. I really think there's a model of rent to revenue ratio that they're running, and at some point they're just like, well, the site doesn't work, doesn't support our model. Like, we're just not going to do it. So I guess we haven't truly hit that yet, because someone always steps in and takes it, right?
Right.
Yeah. But at some point that could happen. But I don't know. We're never going to pay our debt off anyway. So, like, what does it matter?
Yeah. And I think you've got a tenant, let's just say a new center comes up, you sign up 10 tenants, 2 of those fail. Okay. Well, now you've got a line of tenants that want to get into that market, and you've got second gen space that now is built out. Even if you can't reuse the FF&E, you got the HVAC now, you've got the restrooms in place, you've got the grease trap in place, and that original tenant may have signed at $45 a foot. Now you're marketing at $50 a foot.
Right.
And, the original tenant is the one that really kind of suffered and bared the brunt of that build out expense. You obviously have TI, but, I think now all of a sudden that space is worth more money. And you've got a line of tenants that are still dying to grow, such low vacancy, they're just out of options.
Right.
And I've got a second gen space that you can move into immediately and get up and running.
Sure.
But, that's my biggest concern of this, huge growth and everything that's taking place is the idea of, if you're a franchise tenant and you're looking to open your first of concept in North Texas, it's going to be a big number and a lot of risk. And it's always scary as a tenant rep broker. We don't do much franchise stuff, but anytime we work with one of those guys, I always have a serious heart to heart of like, hey, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because here's what you're risking. These guys are pushing for a personal guarantee for the entirety of the term, right? And they're pushing for this, and you're going to need this to build it out. And you need this in your pocket to help sustain if things get a little rocky out of the gates.
Right.
Are you sure that you're willing to risk your nest egg to go do X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, that's right.
You better be successful.
We just somebody did kind of a part of what they were throwing out there was just like, hey, same tenant or corporate versus a franchisee.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which one it was, but basically the corporate deal, same terms and kind of general rent and everything. This one sold corporately at like a 5.75 cap. This franchisee deal was like 6.5. And you're like, is that still enough of a premium for the risk profile? Because like you're saying, maybe they've got a burn off. There's a guarantee. The problem with some of these franchisees is, if you've got 5 units, you could have one that is just bad that just tanks all of them because you just don't have the financial wherewithal to handle that. You got to have enough units to kind of spread that around. But
good deals come and go.
Yeah.
Bad deals last a lifetime.
That's right.
How true is that?
Facts, bro. Facts. Oh, that's what I mean. We've been fortunate enough to never have to do a franchise. We've had some franchisee credit deals come for us to fund, and we're just like, we don't have. We're not. We just have enough opportunity with non-franchisee tenants to not have to.
All right, I've got a couple lists. You guys
want to hold on before the list.
Come on.
One other thing we I don't know if you saw this today. It's not a closure, but it has to do with downtown to a degree because we talked about this once. But did you see Saks Fifth Avenue filed bankruptcy?
Yeah.
Like, aren't they supposed to be like the smartest people in the world doing these mergers and acquisitions? And then a year later, they're fucking bankrupt. Like, what? Anyways.
How long ago was that they acquired?
It was like a year.
Was it a year?
It was a year ago.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was right at a year. And
it's just a restructure. Don't worry about it. Just moving
and they're
money.
hiring. They're
just
hiring,
moving money around.
They fired the CEO and they're hiring the old Neiman CEO.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I don't know. Wasn't Neiman's like failing too? So, but they all get paid in that situation somehow. But anyways, on to the highlight of the show.
You got gambling on the other show. We got restaurant lists.
We got lists.
Yeah. So just a quick one. I thought this was interesting. Uppercut Media House has released their 101 best steakhouses in the country. We had 2 on the list. Nuri, which we've talked about in Uptown. That's the new one that's owned by the Smoothie King CEO. That he spent $300,000 on wallpaper.
I've not been there.
Yeah. It's in my building and I still have not been.
Really?
I'm changing that. We're going this week. I'm doing it. Nuri came in at number 39 and just an OG to Dallas. Albernays is at number 43. So those were only 2 in DFW.
Real quick on steak restaurants.
Yeah.
I had never been to D Lincoln.
How have you never been to D
I've
Lincoln?
never been there.
Yeah.
Just never been there. And the other night I was like, why don't we go there? And we went. It was phenomenal, man.
It's great.
I'm very impressed.
Did you make your way into the cigar bar afterwards by chance?
No, I don't like cigars anyways, but I did know, I was sitting there, I was like, I know Brad Dean's going to show up here at some point. Sure enough, man, he walks right in.
That's fantastic.
So
that's
anyways,
great.
That's a buddy of ours. He's always hanging around up there. But anyways, sorry. I was just like, man, I'm like, it's funny. I texted Tammy today. I go, hey, you want to go to D. Lincoln's on Saturday?
Yeah. They've got a cigar bar kind of lounge in the back, piano player. It feels like a speakeasy.
Yeah.
You walk past the bar, go down the steps. You wouldn't really know it was there. I think it's Havana D's maybe or something to that effect.
That's cool.
It's a great after dinner. You've got clients.
Mm-hmm.
People eat that up, right?
Yeah.
Great dinner, wonderful wine. Hey, let's go get one more drink at the cigar bar. And you bounce in there and they've got the smoked old fashions and
that's cool.
all that stuff. And they've got the live piano player. And they do a really good job of pumping all that smoke out of there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you still smell like cigars, but it's not as bad as some of the OG cigar places that I've walked into.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great job.
So question on these lists.
Come on.
Is this kind of like some of the speaking engagements or different deals where it's like, hey, you can be a sponsor or you can be in the top 20 or whatever. We just need a little sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some sponsor dollars that go towards
on that list? I don't know the answer to that.
You gotta be a good
so like Nuri being on that list, that could make sense, right?
Sure,
they need to, they're brand new,
and
the press is good.
Yeah, I haven't been around long enough to.
But I can just imagine going to Albernaze's ownership and saying, hey, we need you to contribute. They're like, we're good. We got this.
We're good, bro.
We're good. We're good. In fact, we're on a wait. You can't get a table for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So that maybe, I don't know the answer to that, but I saw that headline. Always curious who in Dallas makes the cut.
Right.
Yeah.
And love the fact that at least we had 2 on that list. I think you could make the argument for a handful of more. All right. So we've got D Magazine's list of the best new restaurants of the year. So I kind of went back and forth on which list to pull here, but I thought New Year, it's January.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the best new restaurants in Dallas. Now, admittedly, some of these are tough names to pronounce. So I just, disclaimer, I'm going to butcher a handful of these. There's no doubt in my mind. But we'll jump in. You've got Farina Pizzeria in Richardson. This, it's been 6 years. Let's see. They recently opened up. It looks beautiful. Bunch of different, salads and pizzas and looks great. You got Vaqueros Tex-Mex Barbecue in Allen. That is, they were open previously in a food truck, and these guys moved over and opened up a brand new location. Looks beautiful. The food I've heard is fantastic. Right. Excited to go check that out. You've got Pillar down in North Oak Cliff that made the list. We've got the Far Out in Fair Park that made the list. One thing I thought was interesting, no phone number on the list, so I don't know exactly how you make a reservation.
They're really far out.
They are far out. So I love it. Fair Park, if you could be successful down there, what a great story. So kudos to those guys.
Yeah, you just don't want to run down there and see if you can get a reservation.
Yeah. You want to give this one a go, Jeremy?
Bharat Bhavan.
That a boy. In Main Street in Frisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that like the worst place to put a restaurant right now with all the construction?
It's all torn up. Yeah. But they, it looks beautiful. Obviously, kudos to them for making the list. Yamandi Yamini in Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is this appears this is a walk-up location. You've got Hugo's Seafood Bar in North Oak Cliff. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I was looking at some of the pictures of this one online and right up my alley. Cafe Barbecue in Irving.
We're in Irving.
That is on MacArthur.
Oh, so that's probably up in... Yeah, it's probably like all Valley Ranch area.
Yeah.
Ain't no one opened up some in South Irving.
Domo Domo in Uptown.
Go.
Yeah. Domo Domo Co. in Uptown. Looks great. We've got Sushi Cozy in downtown. Lots of sushi restaurants on here. Latiki Paisa Northeast Dallas, out on Northwest Highway. Great food selection, great wine, cocktails. Looks beautiful. We got to go try some of these places. We're doing field trips.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. Lua Kitchen in Garland.
Yep.
Vietnamese restaurant. And then finally, this is an amazing story. Mamani in Uptown. So these guys opened up September 2nd of last year. And not only were they on the Michelin list, they received a Michelin star in October of last year.
Quite strong.
One of only 2 restaurants in Dallas that received a Michelin star.
Where is it again?
It's in the Quad.
Okay.
Yeah, right there in Uptown, and beautiful build out. Absolutely gorgeous. They've got chef from, he was in Las Vegas most recently. He came in. You've got 2 young guys that own it, great individuals from California, went to SMU, stayed, and they've got 2 other concepts in Dallas, but this one is their first kind of really true fine dining.
Wow.
And they have
What's it called
absolutely
again?
crushed it. Mamani.
Money.
Yeah, so it's the Feels Like Home restaurant group. And shout out to Henry. He's a great guy, and they're up and running and just doing fantastic. So it's almost unheard of and the pressure on those guys to keep up with that, not only with the demand, but then to keep up with that standard, right? I mean, you've been open for 4 months, and you've got a Michelin star, and everybody is coming in expecting a Michelin star experience. And so I talked to him the other day, and he said 9 out of 10 customers absolutely blown away, amazing experience, service is fantastic. There's 1 out of 10 that expect to eat their food with a tweezer and expect it to be this absolute over the top micro servings Michelin experience. That's not what they are.
Right.
This is, French high-end cuisine, and they want you to have an amazing meal. So shout out to Mamani. They're doing a great job, and hopefully we can help them open a few more locations.
I'm about to check it out.
Is getting into a Michelin restaurant, is that like a pretty deep wait list?
I think especially after that list just came out, 3 months ago. So I think, again, there's only 2. You've got the recommended list, which is much more substantial. And I think, but that initial push and drive into traffic, if you get a star, even on the recommended list, you're talking waits to get a reservation. And there's a reason that Dallas and Texas overall paid to have Michelin come in and start evaluating these restaurants. And it's the tax revenue increases. You have people that fly in from around the country to dine at Michelin starred restaurants.
It's crazy.
Did you tell the story on one of these about the Michelin star? I forget. Somebody brought it up.
He told it one time. The like how it originated, right?
Right.
It's the tire company.
Yeah. It's legit.
That's
the
what I
tire
thought.
company.
Yeah.
And it started in Europe, and their concept was that people would drive further to go dine at restaurants, and therefore wear the tread off their tires. And need to buy tires earlier. It's like, wow, that's a reach, but I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally when they give the award, it's a picture of the Michelin man on stage giving these guys the award at the presentation.
Have you ever eaten at a Michelin star restaurant?
Not that I know of. That's a good question.
Be kind of cool.
All right, I'll call.
I want the tweezers.
Eat your microgreens with your tweezers.
Where are we going after this? I'm so hungry.
I am hungry.
I love it. Well, good. Well, that's it for me.
No, that was great. Yeah, it was a good way to kick off the year.
Yeah.
And
well, we got Red River coming up here pretty soon.
that's right.
We do.
So,
we do. Are we recording live from the floor?
I don't know why we shouldn't.
Back in San Antonio for the first time in how many years?
Yeah, it's been 8 years probably.
Gosh, I was thinking longer, but
it's been 8 or 10 years since we've been down there. And it's the thing I love. I'm glad you brought that up. The great thing about being in San Antonio is everybody's really in one place.
Yes.
So after the show empties out, you may go somewhere for, happy hours and dinner, and then everybody kind of pours out into Riverwalk, and you're constantly bumping into people. And
that's cool.
Versus being in Dallas, everybody spreads out, right? You got folks that are dining in Uptown and some that are going to Lemon and
Right.
wherever it may be.
Right.
And so, but down there, everybody's together.
Yeah.
And so it creates a wonderful environment. What's going to be interesting is that Tuesday is kind of the opening reception. I think that's when a lot of your dinners are going to be, that whole thing. And then you've got the show all day Wednesday from 8 to 5, but that's a wrap.
Yeah.
And so what I'm really intrigued about is how many folks stick around and how many folks are taking off.
Right.
You know, there's the potential that Wednesday is just an absolute ghost town. A lot of folks are going to wrap up the show at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock and hop on a flight or drive out. So it'd be interesting to see what Wednesday night in town looks like. But I think Tuesday night's going to be a great scene, a lot of fun. You're going to have a ton of people all in the central location. So I'm looking forward to it.
What are you all doing? Are you staying Wednesday?
No, I've got a client in town who's going to be at the show. We're actually planning a tour on Thursday. So we're going to go to the show and then we're on a 7 p.m. flight out and we're going to shoot back up to Dallas, tour all day Thursday. And then he flies out Friday morning.
To your point, I was looking at the schedule doing the same thing going, all right, we got to be there Tuesday for evening for, dinners or, cocktail parties, whatever meetings. And then a long day Wednesday, but what does that afternoon, evening look like?
Yeah.
I'm with you though. San Antonio is great for that very reason. Everybody's not all over the place. You run into so many people. There's a lot more synergy with everybody stays close, walks to everything. So you don't have many people driving.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. That's going to be great. So are you coming?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I can get us a table if you
do it.
If you'll bring in the
find
equipment.
We'll find the person to set her up. There's got to be someone down there. The same thing we did last time.
Yeah.
So
that'd be fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
See ya.